He felt glad at what she had said.
He felt glad at what she had said.
He felt glad at what she had said.
他对他所说的话感到高兴。
He felt glad at what she had said.
Mike is glad about my coming.
Mike is glad about my coming.
Mike is glad about my coming.
麦克对我的到来很高兴。
Mike is glad about my coming.
I really don't know how to pleasure him.
I really don't know how to pleasure him.
I really don't know how to pleasure him.
我真不知道如何让他高兴。
I really don't know how to pleasure him.
I couldn't see for the tears in my eyes.
I couldn't see for the tears in my eyes.
I couldn't see for the tears in my eyes.
我眼睛里满是泪水，什么都看不见。
I couldn't see for the tears in my eyes.
This announcement greatly excited us.
This announcement greatly excited us.
This announcement greatly excited us.
这个通知使我们大为激动。
This announcement greatly excited us.
She couldn't contain herself for joy.
She couldn't contain herself for joy.
She couldn't contain herself for joy.
她高兴得难以自制。
She couldn't contain herself for joy.
He glared at me furiously.
He glared at me furiously.
He glared at me furiously.
他愤怒地瞪着我。
He glared at me furiously.
Tears were running down her cheeks.
Tears were running down her cheeks.
Tears were running down her cheeks.
眼泪顺着她面颊流下。
Tears were running down her cheeks.
Don't excite yourself. Keep calm.
Don't excite yourself. Keep calm.
Don't excite yourself. Keep calm.
不要激动，保持镇静。
Don't excite yourself. Keep calm.
The tears flowed down his cheeks.
The tears flowed down his cheeks.
The tears flowed down his cheeks.
泪水沿着他的面颊流了下来。
The tears flowed down his cheeks.
He was angry about the hurt.
He was angry about the hurt.
He was angry about the hurt.
他因那伤害而发怒。
He was angry about the hurt.
They never knew him so excited before.
They never knew him so excited before.
They never knew him so excited before.
他们从来没看见他这样激动过。
They never knew him so excited before.
I feel very hurt by what you said.
I feel very hurt by what you said.
I feel very hurt by what you said.
你说的话让我很伤心。
I feel very hurt by what you said.
There was great excitement in the air.
There was great excitement in the air.
There was great excitement in the air.
人人都感到了无比的激动。
There was great excitement in the air.
Mary is part happy, part sad.
Mary is part happy, part sad.
Mary is part happy, part sad.
玛丽一会儿高兴，一会儿悲伤。
Mary is part happy, part sad.
He left in a temper.
He left in a temper.
He left in a temper.
他怒气冲冲地走开了。
He left in a temper.
It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you again.
很高兴又见到了你。
It's good to see you again.
I didn't shed a single tear.
I didn't shed a single tear.
I didn't shed a single tear.
我没有掉一滴泪。
I didn't shed a single tear.
He was near tears.
He was near tears.
He was near tears.
他几乎要流泪了。
He was near tears.
I'll be happy when the exams are over.
I'll be happy when the exams are over.
I'll be happy when the exams are over.
考试结束后我会很高兴的。
I'll be happy when the exams are over.
Her eyes were watering from dust.
Her eyes were watering from dust.
Her eyes were watering from dust.
他的双眼进了灰尘，正在流泪。
Her eyes were watering from dust.
I was very glad indeed to hear the news.
I was very glad indeed to hear the news.
I was very glad indeed to hear the news.
我听到这消息的确非常高兴。
I was very glad indeed to hear the news.
I love it when I hear you laugh.
I love it when I hear you laugh.
I love it when I hear you laugh.
听见你笑，我就非常高兴。
I love it when I hear you laugh.
I shall be only too pleased to get home.
I shall be only too pleased to get home.
I shall be only too pleased to get home.
我回到家里将非常高兴。
I shall be only too pleased to get home.
He visited his anger on his wife.
He visited his anger on his wife.
He visited his anger on his wife.
他迁怒于他的妻子。
He visited his anger on his wife.
I am glad we have come together at last.
I am glad we have come together at last.
I am glad we have come together at last.
很高兴我们终于取得了一致。
I am glad we have come together at last.
It pleased them to help.
It pleased them to help.
It pleased them to help.
能帮上忙令他们很高兴。
It pleased them to help.
The woman's smile concealed her anger.
The woman's smile concealed her anger.
The woman's smile concealed her anger.
这妇人的微笑掩饰了她的愤怒。
The woman's smile concealed her anger.
The tears flowed down from her eyes.
The tears flowed down from her eyes.
The tears flowed down from her eyes.
泪水从她的眼中涌出。
The tears flowed down from her eyes.
She fed her feeling of indignation.
She fed her feeling of indignation.
She fed her feeling of indignation.
她的愤怒加剧了。
She fed her feeling of indignation.
I'm delighted to hear you say that.
I'm delighted to hear you say that.
I'm delighted to hear you say that.
很高兴听你说到那件事。
I'm delighted to hear you say that.
I'm glad about what happened.
I'm glad about what happened.
I'm glad about what happened.
我为发生的事感到高兴。
I'm glad about what happened.
I really enjoyed myself.
I really enjoyed myself.
I really enjoyed myself.
我玩得非常开心。
I really enjoyed myself.
She was in floods of tears.
She was in floods of tears.
She was in floods of tears.
她泪如雨下。
She was in floods of tears.
She had a face like thunder.
She had a face like thunder.
She had a face like thunder.
她满面怒容。
She had a face like thunder.
I took myself off in a high old fury.
I took myself off in a high old fury.
I took myself off in a high old fury.
我非常愤怒地离开了。
I took myself off in a high old fury.
I've never known you so cheerful.
I've never known you so cheerful.
I've never known you so cheerful.
我从来没看见你这样高兴。
I've never known you so cheerful.
You appear unhappy.
You appear unhappy.
You appear unhappy.
你看起来好像不高兴。
You appear unhappy.
The mere idea made me boil.
The mere idea made me boil.
The mere idea made me boil.
这个主意让我大为激动。
The mere idea made me boil.
Her tears were pure theater.
Her tears were pure theatre.
Her tears were pure theater.
她流眼泪纯粹是在做戏。
Her tears were pure theatre.
I fancy he will be glad to see us.
I fancy he will be glad to see us.
I fancy he will be glad to see us.
我想他看到我们时肯定高兴。
I fancy he will be glad to see us.
My heart pounded with joy.
My heart pounded with joy.
My heart pounded with joy.
我的心高兴地砰砰直跳。
My heart pounded with joy.
She wept to see him in such a state.
She wept to see him in such a state.
She wept to see him in such a state.
她一见他那种情形簌簌泪下。
She wept to see him in such a state.
Her eyes were streaming tears.
Her eyes were streaming tears.
Her eyes were streaming tears.
她两眼正流着泪水。
Her eyes were streaming tears.
Tears were rolling down his face.
Tears were rolling down his face.
Tears were rolling down his face.
泪珠顺着他的脸庞滚落。
Tears were rolling down his face.
I couldn't be happier.
I couldn't be happier.
I couldn't be happier.
我简直太开心了。
I couldn't be happier.
My dog pines if I leave him in kennels.
My dog pines if I leave him in kennels.
My dog pines if I leave him in kennels.
如果我把狗关在窝里，它会非常不高兴。
My dog pines if I leave him in kennels.
He is easily angered.
He is easily angered.
He is easily angered.
他容易动怒。
He is easily angered.
A tear rolled down his cheek.
A tear rolled down his cheek.
A tear rolled down his cheek.
一滴泪水顺着他的脸颊滚下。
A tear rolled down his cheek.
He was rather hurt by their criticisms.
He was rather hurt by their criticisms.
He was rather hurt by their criticisms.
他们的种种批评使他很伤心。
He was rather hurt by their criticisms.
We had a nice visit on the phone.
We had a nice visit on the phone.
We had a nice visit on the phone.
我们在电话里谈得很高兴。
We had a nice visit on the phone.
She was thrilled to bits.
She was thrilled to bits.
She was thrilled to bits.
她激动得不行。
She was thrilled to bits.
His anger came to a boil.
His anger came to a boil.
His anger came to a boil.
他愤怒到了极点。
His anger came to a boil.
Maria's eyes filled with tears.
Maria's eyes filled with tears.
Maria's eyes filled with tears.
玛利亚的眼里盈满了泪水。
Maria's eyes filled with tears.
The excitement quickened my pulse.
The excitement quickened my pulse.
The excitement quickened my pulse.
激动使我的心跳加快。
The excitement quickened my pulse.
They thrilled when the Pope turned up.
They thrilled when the Pope turned up.
They thrilled when the Pope turned up.
当教皇出现时，他们激动地发抖。
They thrilled when the Pope turned up.
His comments hurt.
His comments hurt.
His comments hurt.
他的评论让人很伤心。
His comments hurt.
Angry cries met his speech.
Angry cries met his speech.
Angry cries met his speech.
听众发出愤怒的叫喊声来反抗他的讲话。
Angry cries met his speech.
My heart was thumping with excitement.
My heart was thumping with excitement.
My heart was thumping with excitement.
我激动的心砰砰跳。
My heart was thumping with excitement.
You don't look very glad about the news.
You don't look very glad about the news.
You don't look very glad about the news.
你听到这条消息显得并不十分高兴。
You don't look very glad about the news.
Nothing dries sooner than a tear.
Nothing dries sooner than a tear.
Nothing dries sooner than a tear.
眼泪最容易干。
Nothing dries sooner than a tear.
She gave me a sad look.
She gave me a sad look.
She gave me a sad look.
她伤心地看了我一眼。
She gave me a sad look.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Time flies when you're having fun.
开心的时光总是飞逝而去。
Time flies when you're having fun.
His only reply was an angry stare.
His only reply was an angry stare.
His only reply was an angry stare.
他唯一的回答是怒目而视。
His only reply was an angry stare.
Fury continually rose inside me.
Fury continually rose inside me.
Fury continually rose inside me.
怒火在我心头越烧越旺。
Fury continually rose inside me.
The rage of James flamed high.
The rage of James flamed high.
The rage of James flamed high.
詹姆士怒火万丈。
The rage of James flamed high.
This news was a cause for rejoicing.
This news was a cause for rejoicing.
This news was a cause for rejoicing.
这是个应当使人高兴的消息。
This news was a cause for rejoicing.
The new toys delighted the children.
The new toys delighted the children.
The new toys delighted the children.
新玩具使孩子们高兴。
The new toys delighted the children.
The tears coursed down his cheeks.
The tears coursed down his cheeks.
The tears coursed down his cheeks.
眼泪顺着他的脸颊哗哗流下来。
The tears coursed down his cheeks.
Anger had colored her judgment.
Anger had colored her judgment.
Anger had colored her judgment.
愤怒影响了他的判断力。
Anger had colored her judgment.
We had a brilliant time.
We had a brilliant time.
We had a brilliant time.
我们玩得很高兴。
We had a brilliant time.
It's been a lot of fun meeting you.
It's been a lot of fun meeting you.
It's been a lot of fun meeting you.
遇见您真太开心了。
It's been a lot of fun meeting you.
It was lovely to have finished at last.
It was lovely to have finished at last.
It was lovely to have finished at last.
很高兴终于完成了。
It was lovely to have finished at last.
Her eyes were flooded with tears.
Her eyes were flooded with tears.
Her eyes were flooded with tears.
她的眼里充满了泪水。
Her eyes were flooded with tears.
He was glad to be home again.
He was glad to be home again.
He was glad to be home again.
他对再次回到家中感到高兴。
He was glad to be home again.
All people that go to church look happy.
All people that go to church look happy.
All people that go to church look happy.
所有去教堂做礼拜的人都显得很高兴。
All people that go to church look happy.
Tears streamed down their faces.
Tears streamed down their faces.
Tears streamed down their faces.
泪水顺着他们的脸颊流下来。
Tears streamed down their faces.
I'm happy to accept your invitation.
I'm happy to accept your invitation.
I'm happy to accept your invitation.
我很高兴接受你们的邀请。
I'm happy to accept your invitation.
He's a terrible man when he's angry.
He's a terrible man when he's angry.
He's a terrible man when he's angry.
他这个人生气时令人生畏。
He's a terrible man when he's angry.
His aggressive manner irritated her.
His aggressive manner irritated her.
His aggressive manner irritated her.
他那放肆的态度把她激怒了。
His aggressive manner irritated her.
I am so glad that you have come.
I am so glad that you have come.
I am so glad that you have come.
我对你的到来感到很高兴。
I am so glad that you have come.
The boy's eyes filled with tears.
The boy's eyes filled with tears.
The boy's eyes filled with tears.
那男孩的眼里充满了泪水。
The boy's eyes filled with tears.
He looked fit to explode.
He looked fit to explode.
He looked fit to explode.
他看上去要勃然大怒了。
He looked fit to explode.
I'm not happy unless I ride every day.
I'm not happy unless I ride every day.
I'm not happy unless I ride every day.
只有每天骑车我才会开心。
I'm not happy unless I ride every day.
His anger and anguish clearly went deep.
His anger and anguish clearly went deep.
His anger and anguish clearly went deep.
很明显，他的愤怒和痛苦已根深蒂固。
His anger and anguish clearly went deep.
You have brought us welcome news.
You have brought us welcome news.
You have brought us welcome news.
你给我们带来了令人高兴的消息。
You have brought us welcome news.
She turned her angry face towards him.
She turned her angry face towards him.
She turned her angry face towards him.
她转过来看着他，满脸怒容。
She turned her angry face towards him.
In a fit of anger he hit his friend.
In a fit of anger he hit his friend.
In a fit of anger he hit his friend.
他一怒之下打了他的朋友。
In a fit of anger he hit his friend.
I am so happy for you.
I am so happy for you.
I am so happy for you.
我真为你感到高兴。
I am so happy for you.
How glad I am.
How glad I am.
How glad I am.
我真高兴呀。
How glad I am.
The children are very happy today.
The children are very happy today.
The children are very happy today.
孩子们今天很高兴。
The children are very happy today.
His news is music to my ears.
His news is music to my ears.
His news is music to my ears.
他的消息令我非常高兴。
His news is music to my ears.
She was shouting in anger.
She was shouting in anger.
She was shouting in anger.
他怒气冲冲地喊着。
She was shouting in anger.
Don't be so black at your neighbors.
Don't be so black at your neighbors.
Don't be so black at your neighbors.
不要对你的邻居怒气冲冲。
Don't be so black at your neighbors.
I drove home blinded by tears.
I drove home blinded by tears.
I drove home blinded by tears.
我泪眼模糊地开车回了家。
I drove home blinded by tears.
Her eyes were dimmed with tears.
Her eyes were dimmed with tears.
Her eyes were dimmed with tears.
泪水模糊了她的双眼。
Her eyes were dimmed with tears.
I'm so happy I could weep.
I'm so happy I could weep.
I'm so happy I could weep.
我高兴得要哭。
I'm so happy I could weep.
He was fearful of her anger.
He was fearful of her anger.
He was fearful of her anger.
他怕她生气。
He was fearful of her anger.
She was angered at the insult.
She was angered at the insult.
She was angered at the insult.
她因受辱而恼怒。
She was angered at the insult.
The old man's tears were flowing freely.
The old man's tears were flowing freely.
The old man's tears were flowing freely.
老人的眼泪流出来了。
The old man's tears were flowing freely.
I was quite excited to hear that.
I was quite excited to hear that.
I was quite excited to hear that.
听到那事我非常激动。
I was quite excited to hear that.
I can't tell you how happy I am.
I can't tell you how happy I am.
I can't tell you how happy I am.
我无法向你表达我多么高兴。
I can't tell you how happy I am.
He had a violent tongue.
He had a violent tongue.
He had a violent tongue.
他过去一说话情绪就很激动。
He had a violent tongue.
Don't let her get you all upset.
Don't let her get you all upset.
Don't let her get you all upset.
不要因为他的缘故而伤心烦恼。
Don't let her get you all upset.
It's nice to have seen you.
It's nice to have seen you.
It's nice to have seen you.
和你相识很高兴。
It's nice to have seen you.
It was sweet of you to come.
It was sweet of you to come.
It was sweet of you to come.
你来真叫人高兴。
It was sweet of you to come.
The goose hissed at me angrily.
The goose hissed at me angrily.
The goose hissed at me angrily.
那鹅愤怒地向我发出嘶嘶声。
The goose hissed at me angrily.
Something very sad happened yesterday.
Something very sad happened yesterday.
Something very sad happened yesterday.
昨天发生了一件令人非常伤心的事情。
Something very sad happened yesterday.
I had cried oceans of tears.
I had cried oceans of tears.
I had cried oceans of tears.
我已哭得泪流成河。
I had cried oceans of tears.
I'm glad of your company.
I'm glad of your company.
I'm glad of your company.
有你陪伴我很高兴。
I'm glad of your company.
I always cry when I'm chopping onions.
I always cry when I'm chopping onions.
I always cry when I'm chopping onions.
我切洋葱的时候总是被呛得流眼泪。
I always cry when I'm chopping onions.
Nothing ever makes him angry.
Nothing ever makes him angry.
Nothing ever makes him angry.
从未有事使他生气。
Nothing ever makes him angry.
His face was wet with tears.
His face was wet with tears.
His face was wet with tears.
他满脸泪水。
His face was wet with tears.
I feel bad that I've upset him.
I feel bad that I've upset him.
I feel bad that I've upset him.
我惹他不高兴了，感到很歉疚。
I feel bad that I've upset him.
I'd be most delighted if you will.
I'd be most delighted if you will.
I'd be most delighted if you will.
如果您愿意，我会非常高兴的。
I'd be most delighted if you will.
We really enjoyed ourselves.
We really enjoyed ourselves.
We really enjoyed ourselves.
我们玩得非常高兴。
We really enjoyed ourselves.
His resentment blinds his good sense.
His resentment blinds his good sense.
His resentment blinds his good sense.
愤怒使他失去理智。
His resentment blinds his good sense.
She's glad she's done it.
She's glad she's done it.
She's glad she's done it.
他为自己做了那件事而高兴。
She's glad she's done it.
His heart pulsed with excitement.
His heart pulsed with excitement.
His heart pulsed with excitement.
他的心激动得砰砰直跳。
His heart pulsed with excitement.
They had a wonderful time and so did I.
They had a wonderful time and so did I.
They had a wonderful time and so did I.
他们玩得很开心，我也是。
They had a wonderful time and so did I.
I feel so angry about that whole issue.
I feel so angry about the whole issue.
I feel so angry about that whole issue.
对于整件事我感到非常愤怒。
I feel so angry about the whole issue.
He seemed glad sometimes.
He seemed glad sometimes.
He seemed glad sometimes.
有时，他显得很高兴。
He seemed glad sometimes.
It was nice to have your news.
It was nice to have your news.
It was nice to have your news.
很高兴听到你的消息。
It was nice to have your news.
Your letter was a pleasant surprise.
Your letter was a pleasant surprise.
Your letter was a pleasant surprise.
没有想到会收到你的信，真高兴。
Your letter was a pleasant surprise.
She is afraid of hurting her teacher.
She is afraid of hurting her teacher.
She is afraid of hurting her teacher.
她唯恐使老师不高兴。
She is afraid of hurting her teacher.
Her eyes flashed with anger.
Her eyes flashed with anger.
Her eyes flashed with anger.
她眼中冒出了怒火。
Her eyes flashed with anger.
I always get upset when someone leaves.
I always get upset when someone leaves.
I always get upset when someone leaves.
每当有人离开我就会伤心。
I always get upset when someone leaves.
It's a pleasure to hear of your success.
It's a pleasure to hear of your success.
It's a pleasure to hear of your success.
听说您获得了成功，这真是一件让人高兴的事。
It's a pleasure to hear of your success.
She hit the child in anger.
She hit the child in anger.
She hit the child in anger.
她生气地打了那孩子。
She hit the child in anger.
He gave a loud whistle of gladness.
He gave a loud whistle of gladness.
He gave a loud whistle of gladness.
他吹了一声响亮的口号表示高兴。
He gave a loud whistle of gladness.
Her eyes were streaming from the wind.
Her eyes were streaming from the wind.
Her eyes were streaming from the wind.
风吹得她直流眼泪。
Her eyes were streaming from the wind.
Tears began streaming down her cheeks.
Tears began streaming down her cheeks.
Tears began streaming down her cheeks.
眼泪开始顺着她的脸颊滚落下来。
Tears began streaming down her cheeks.
Tears poured down both our faces.
Tears poured down both our faces.
Tears poured down both our faces.
眼泪在我们两人脸上哗哗地流。
Tears poured down both our faces.
It was nice seeing you.
It was nice seeing you.
It was nice seeing you.
这次见面很高兴。
It was nice seeing you.
The victory sent our spirits rising.
The victory sent our spirits rising.
The victory sent our spirits rising.
胜利使得我们非常高兴。
The victory sent our spirits rising.
He always seems glad even in defeat.
He always seems glad even in defeat.
He always seems glad even in defeat.
他总是高高兴兴，即使输了也这样。
He always seems glad even in defeat.
I pleasure in your company.
I pleasure in your company.
I pleasure in your company.
和你在一起我感到高兴。
I pleasure in your company.
Her eyes clouded with tears.
Her eyes clouded with tears.
Her eyes clouded with tears.
她泪眼模糊。
Her eyes clouded with tears.
They are but too glad to do so.
They are but too glad to do so.
They are but too glad to do so.
他们很高兴这样做。
They are but too glad to do so.
His face was bathed in a rain of tears.
His face was bathed in a rain of tears.
His face was bathed in a rain of tears.
他泪流满面。
His face was bathed in a rain of tears.
He dared not show that he was pleased.
He dared not show that he was pleased.
He dared not show that he was pleased.
他不敢表示自己觉得高兴。
He dared not show that he was pleased.
He wiped his tears with a tissue.
He wiped his tears with a tissue.
He wiped his tears with a tissue.
他用纸巾擦干了眼泪。
He wiped his tears with a tissue.
She shouted with joy.
She shouted with joy.
She shouted with joy.
她高兴地喊起来。
She shouted with joy.
Shall I put on a DVD to amuse the kids?
Shall I put on a DVD to amuse the kids?
Shall I put on a DVD to amuse the kids?
要不要给孩子们放段录像，逗他们开心？
Shall I put on a DVD to amuse the kids?
I'm so happy for you.
I'm so happy for you.
I'm so happy for you.
我真为你感到高兴。
I'm so happy for you.
He came bouncing in, grinning with glee.
He came bouncing in, grinning with glee.
He came bouncing in, grinning with glee.
他蹦蹦跳跳地冲进来，高兴地咧嘴笑着。
He came bouncing in, grinning with glee.
Andrew roared with delight.
Andrew roared with delight.
Andrew roared with delight.
安德鲁高兴地大笑起来。
Andrew roared with delight.
He fled from the angry tiger.
He fled from the angry tiger.
He fled from the angry tiger.
他逃开怒虎。
He fled from the angry tiger.
She flushed with delight.
She flushed with delight.
She flushed with delight.
他高兴得满脸通红。
She flushed with delight.
I am angry with you for your conduct.
I am angry with you for your conduct.
I am angry with you for your conduct.
你的行为使我生气。
I am angry with you for your conduct.
It caused much sorrow to his mother.
It caused much sorrow to his mother.
It caused much sorrow to his mother.
这使他的妈妈大为伤心。
It caused much sorrow to his mother.
I was feeling surprisingly cheerful.
I was feeling surprisingly cheerful.
I was feeling surprisingly cheerful.
我感到出乎意料的高兴。
I was feeling surprisingly cheerful.
He killed the man in a blind fury.
He killed the man in a blind fury.
He killed the man in a blind fury.
他一怒之下把那人杀了。
He killed the man in a blind fury.
Don't joke with a man in anger.
Don't joke with a man in anger.
Don't joke with a man in anger.
别和动怒的人开玩笑。
Don't joke with a man in anger.
Are you pleased about John's promotion?
Are you pleased about John's promotion?
Are you pleased about John's promotion?
约翰升职了，你开心吗？
Are you pleased about John's promotion?
The old woman still mourns for her son.
The old woman still mourns for her son.
The old woman still mourns for her son.
这位老太太还在为儿子的死伤心。
The old woman still mourns for her son.
Tears flowed down his cheeks.
Tears flowed down his cheeks.
Tears flowed down his cheeks.
他泪流满面。
Tears flowed down his cheeks.
She choked with emotion.
She choked with emotion.
She choked with emotion.
他激动地说不出话来。
She choked with emotion.
Don't look so shocked.
Don't look so shocked.
Don't look so shocked.
别这么生气。
Don't look so shocked.
The wind is making my eyes water.
The wind is making my eyes water.
The wind is making my eyes water.
风吹得我眼睛直流泪。
The wind is making my eyes water.
His eyes filled with tears.
His eyes filled with tears.
His eyes filled with tears.
他的眼里饱含泪水。
His eyes filled with tears.
I was truly moved by his tears.
I was truly moved by his tears.
I was truly moved by his tears.
我的确被他的眼泪感动了。
I was truly moved by his tears.
We are all happy.
We are all happy.
We are all happy.
我们都高兴。
We are all happy.
They were angered at the resolution.
They were angered at the resolution.
They were angered at the resolution.
他们被这项决议激怒了。
They were angered at the resolution.
They wept tears of happiness.
They wept tears of happiness.
They wept tears of happiness.
他们因喜悦而流泪。
They wept tears of happiness.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
见到你很高兴。
Nice to meet you.
His face betrayed his anger.
His face betrayed his anger.
His face betrayed his anger.
他的表情暴露出他的怒火。
His face betrayed his anger.
Her face was bright with happiness.
Her face was bright with happiness.
Her face was bright with happiness.
他高兴得满脸喜气。
Her face was bright with happiness.
She can't bear him making fun of her.
She can't bear him making fun of her.
She can't bear him making fun of her.
他受不了他拿他开心。
She can't bear him making fun of her.
He is prone to anger.
He is prone to anger.
He is prone to anger.
他动不动就发怒。
He is prone to anger.
She gave a little skip of joy.
She gave a little skip of joy.
She gave a little skip of joy.
他高兴地跳了起来。
She gave a little skip of joy.
His moods are very changeable.
His moods are very changeable.
His moods are very changeable.
他的情绪喜怒无常。
His moods are very changeable.
He shouldn't grieve his elder.
He shouldn't grieve his elder.
He shouldn't grieve his elder.
他不应让长辈伤心。
He shouldn't grieve his elder.
It'll make me angry if you'll accept it.
It'll make me angry if you'll accept it.
It'll make me angry if you'll accept it.
你要接受这东西会使我生气的。
It'll make me angry if you'll accept it.
I left him in a fit of indignation.
I left him in a fit of indignation.
I left him in a fit of indignation.
一怒之下，我离开了他。
I left him in a fit of indignation.
Never in her life has she felt so happy.
Never in her life had she felt so happy.
Never in her life has she felt so happy.
她一辈子从未觉得这么开心过。
Never in her life had she felt so happy.
I only got married to please my parents.
I only got married to please my parents.
I only got married to please my parents.
我结婚只是为了让我父母高兴。
I only got married to please my parents.
Ferguson was unhappy and it showed.
Ferguson was unhappy and it showed.
Ferguson was unhappy and it showed.
弗格森不高兴，而且表现了出来。
Ferguson was unhappy and it showed.
Her face flamed with excitement.
Her face flamed with excitement.
Her face flamed with excitement.
她激动得脸绯红。
Her face flamed with excitement.
She was in a fever about her party.
She was in a fever about her party.
She was in a fever about her party.
她对她的聚会激动万分。
She was in a fever about her party.
He gave his fierce anger.
He gave his fierce anger.
He gave his fierce anger.
他勃然大怒。
He gave his fierce anger.
Tears filmed his eyes.
Tears filmed his eyes.
Tears filmed his eyes.
泪水模糊了他的眼睛。
Tears filmed his eyes.
I'm glad he's out and about again.
I'm glad he's out and about again.
I'm glad he's out and about again.
看见他又能出来走走，我很高兴。
I'm glad he's out and about again.
She answered with an angry look.
She answered with an angry look.
She answered with an angry look.
他怒目以对。
She answered with an angry look.
He looked at me with delight.
He looked at me with delight.
He looked at me with delight.
他高兴地看着我。
He looked at me with delight.
She cried hot tears upon the book.
She cried hot tears upon the book.
She cried hot tears upon the book.
他哭得热泪都滴到书上了。
She cried hot tears upon the book.
She is sick with me for being so late.
She is sick with me for being so late.
She is sick with me for being so late.
他对我来的这样迟感到不高兴。
She is sick with me for being so late.
She gave a scream of anger.
She gave a scream of anger.
She gave a scream of anger.
他发出一声愤怒的尖叫声。
She gave a scream of anger.
Her eyes were blinded with tears.
Her eyes were blinded with tears.
Her eyes were blinded with tears.
泪水模糊了他的眼睛。
Her eyes were blinded with tears.
His emotions were still too raw.
His emotions were still too raw.
His emotions were still too raw.
他的情绪仍然太过激动。
His emotions were still too raw.
Tears streamed down her face.
Tears streamed down her face.
Tears streamed down her face.
泪水顺着他的脸颊流下来。
Tears streamed down her face.
He is apt to lose his temper.
He is apt to lose his temper.
He is apt to lose his temper.
他很容易发怒。
He is apt to lose his temper.
Tears of joy streamed down her face.
Tears of joy streamed down her face.
Tears of joy streamed down her face.
喜悦的泪水从他的脸上流下来。
Tears of joy streamed down her face.
Tears are an expression of grief.
Tears are an expression of grief.
Tears are an expression of grief.
眼泪是悲痛的一种流露。
Tears are an expression of grief.
She dared the anger of his family.
She dared the anger of his family.
She dared the anger of his family.
在他愤怒的一家人面前，他毫无畏缩。
She dared the anger of his family.
Lee tried to hide his excitement.
Lee tried to hide his excitement.
Lee tried to hide his excitement.
李努力掩饰内心的激动。
Lee tried to hide his excitement.
The tears ran down her cheeks.
The tears ran down her cheeks.
The tears ran down her cheeks.
泪水顺着她的脸颊滚落。
The tears ran down her cheeks.
She sighed and looked sad.
She sighed and looked sad.
She sighed and looked sad.
她叹了口气，显得很伤心。
She sighed and looked sad.
He who laughs last laughs best.
He who laughs last laughs best.
He who laughs last laughs best.
最后笑的人笑得最开心，别高兴得太早。
He who laughs last laughs best.
We are extremely happy to have you here.
We are extremely happy to have you here.
We are extremely happy to have you here.
能把你请来，我们感到十分高兴。
We are extremely happy to have you here.
Everybody was delighted to see her.
Everybody was delighted to see her.
Everybody was delighted to see her.
大家见到她都很高兴。
Everybody was delighted to see her.
What hurts most is the betrayal.
What hurts most is the betrayal.
What hurts most is the betrayal.
最让人伤心的是背叛。
What hurts most is the betrayal.
He was in a positive fury.
He was in a positive fury.
He was in a positive fury.
他勃然大怒。
He was in a positive fury.
He smiled to see her so happy.
He smiled to see her so happy.
He smiled to see her so happy.
看到她这样高兴，他笑了。
He smiled to see her so happy.
Tears rained down her cheeks.
Tears rained down her cheeks.
Tears rained down her cheeks.
眼泪顺着她的面颊如雨点般落下。
Tears rained down her cheeks.
How did you enjoy the ball?
How did you enjoy the ball?
How did you enjoy the ball?
你们在舞会上玩得高兴吗？
How did you enjoy the ball?
Yellow is a cheerful color.
Yellow is a cheerful color.
Yellow is a cheerful color.
黄色是令人高兴的颜色。
Yellow is a cheerful color.
I hate to see you so unhappy.
I hate to see you so unhappy.
I hate to see you so unhappy.
我可不愿看见你这么不高兴。
I hate to see you so unhappy.
The fond father smiled with pleasure.
The fond father smiled with pleasure.
The fond father smiled with pleasure.
溺爱孩子的父亲高兴地微笑了。
The fond father smiled with pleasure.
It is pleasant for us to meet you.
It is pleasant for us to meet you.
It is pleasant for us to meet you.
遇见你我们感到很高兴。
It is pleasant for us to meet you.
Janet looks happy.
Janet looks happy.
Janet looks happy.
珍妮特看起来很开心。
Janet looks happy.
I have read your book with pleasure.
I have read your book with pleasure.
I have read your book with pleasure.
我已高兴地拜读了你的书。
I have read your book with pleasure.
His aggressive tone annoyed me.
His aggressive tone annoyed me.
His aggressive tone annoyed me.
他那咄咄逼人的口气激怒了我。
His aggressive tone annoyed me.
She's upset that she wasn't invited.
She's upset that she wasn't invited.
She's upset that she wasn't invited.
让他生气的是他没有受到邀请。
She's upset that she wasn't invited.
I'm going, whether she likes it or not.
I'm going, whether she likes it or not.
I'm going, whether she likes it or not.
不管她高不高兴，我都要走。
I'm going, whether she likes it or not.
He cried with anger and frustration.
He cried with anger and frustration.
He cried with anger and frustration.
他愤怒而沮丧地哭了。
He cried with anger and frustration.
Tears were running down his face.
Tears were running down his face.
Tears were running down his face.
泪水沿着他的面颊流下。
Tears were running down his face.
She tried hard to hold her tears.
She tried hard to hold her tears.
She tried hard to hold her tears.
她极力忍住眼泪。
She tried hard to hold her tears.
I know too well that I get on her tits.
I know too well that I get on her tits.
I know too well that I get on her tits.
我很明白自己惹怒了她。
I know too well that I get on her tits.
The tears trickled down her cheeks.
The tears trickled down her cheeks.
The tears trickled down her cheeks.
热泪一滴滴从她脸蛋上滚下来。
The tears trickled down her cheeks.
That expression means that he is angry.
That expression means that he is angry.
That expression means that he is angry.
那表情意味着他生气了。
That expression means that he is angry.
A violent rage possessed him.
A violent rage possessed him.
A violent rage possessed him.
他内心无比愤怒。
A violent rage possessed him.
Tears washed her cheeks.
Tears washed her cheeks.
Tears washed her cheeks.
泪水打湿了他的双颊。
Tears washed her cheeks.
The speech thrilled the crowd.
The speech thrilled the crowd.
The speech thrilled the crowd.
那篇演说使众人为之激动不已。
The speech thrilled the crowd.
She mops her tears with a towel.
She mops her tears with a towel.
She mops her tears with a towel.
她用毛巾擦眼泪。
She mops her tears with a towel.
John is sad because his dog has died.
John is sad because his dog has died.
John is sad because his dog has died.
约翰因为他的狗死了而伤心。
John is sad because his dog has died.
She clapped her hands in delight.
She clapped her hands in delight.
She clapped her hands in delight.
她高兴地拍手。
She clapped her hands in delight.
He shook his fists angrily.
He shook his fists angrily.
He shook his fists angrily.
他愤怒地挥舞着双拳。
He shook his fists angrily.
It was good to hear from you.
It was good to hear from you.
It was good to hear from you.
很高兴收到你的来信。
It was good to hear from you.
I'm happy, indeed delighted.
I'm happy, indeed delighted.
I'm happy, indeed delighted.
我很高兴，确切说简直就是心花怒放。
I'm happy, indeed delighted.
I am delighted you are able to come.
I am delighted you are able to come.
I am delighted you are able to come.
你能来，我很高兴。
I am delighted you are able to come.
They were easily shocked in those days.
They were easily shocked in those days.
They were easily shocked in those days.
他们那时候容易被激怒。
They were easily shocked in those days.
I laughed till I cried.
I laughed till I cried.
I laughed till I cried.
我笑得直流眼泪。
I laughed till I cried.
He was torn by rage.
He was torn by rage.
He was torn by rage.
他愤怒至极。
He was torn by rage.
I am awful glad you were able to come.
I am awful glad you were able to come.
I am awful glad you were able to come.
很高兴你能来。
I am awful glad you were able to come.
We will be glad to get rid of him.
We will be glad to get rid of him.
We will be glad to get rid of him.
摆脱他，我们将很高兴。
We will be glad to get rid of him.
He is not easily annoyed at trifles.
He is not easily annoyed at trifles.
He is not easily annoyed at trifles.
他不轻易为琐事动怒。
He is not easily annoyed at trifles.
A wave of anger swept over her.
A wave of anger swept over her.
A wave of anger swept over her.
他勃然大怒。
A wave of anger swept over her.
Her cruel words angered him.
Her cruel words angered him.
Her cruel words angered him.
他那无情的话激怒了他。
Her cruel words angered him.
His eyes watered from cigarette smoke.
His eyes watered from cigarette smoke.
His eyes watered from cigarette smoke.
他的眼睛被香烟烟雾呛出了泪水。
His eyes watered from cigarette smoke.
Stop crying and wipe off your tears.
Stop crying and wipe off your tears.
Stop crying and wipe off your tears.
不要哭，拭去你的眼泪。
Stop crying and wipe off your tears.
We enjoyed boating very much.
We enjoyed boating very much.
We enjoyed boating very much.
我们划船玩得非常高兴。
We enjoyed boating very much.
Father caged his anger.
Father caged his anger.
Father caged his anger.
父亲强压住怒火。
Father caged his anger.
We had an amazing time in Thailand.
We had an amazing time in Thailand.
We had an amazing time in Thailand.
我们在泰国玩得非常开心。
We had an amazing time in Thailand.
His face was inflamed with anger.
His face was inflamed with anger.
His face was inflamed with anger.
他的脸因愤怒而长得通红。
His face was inflamed with anger.
Try to contain your anger.
Try to contain your anger.
Try to contain your anger.
设法抑制你的怒火。
Try to contain your anger.
She had a wild argument with Joe.
She had a wild argument with Joe.
She had a wild argument with Joe.
他与乔发生了怒气冲天的争辩。
She had a wild argument with Joe.
The receptionist scowled at me.
The receptionist scowled at me.
The receptionist scowled at me.
接待员怒视着我。
The receptionist scowled at me.
They jumped for joy.
They jumped for joy.
They jumped for joy.
他们高兴地跳了起来。
They jumped for joy.
I was quite excited at the prospect.
I was quite excited at the prospect.
I was quite excited at the prospect.
想到这种前景，我激动不已。
I was quite excited at the prospect.
It was an exciting finish.
It was an exciting finish.
It was an exciting finish.
结尾是激动人心的。
It was an exciting finish.
I am afraid it may hurt you.
I am afraid it may hurt you.
I am afraid it may hurt you.
我怕这会使你伤心。
I am afraid it may hurt you.
We'd be glad of the chance to meet her.
We'd be glad of the chance to meet her.
We'd be glad of the chance to meet her.
如有机会见到她，我们会非常高兴。
We'd be glad of the chance to meet her.
She was nearly in tears.
She was nearly in tears.
She was nearly in tears.
她差点落泪。
She was nearly in tears.
He angers easily.
He angers easily.
He angers easily.
她动辄发怒。
He angers easily.
Tears welled in her eyes.
Tears welled in her eyes.
Tears welled in her eyes.
泪水涌上她的双眼。
Tears welled in her eyes.
He is in a heat.
He is in a heat.
He is in a heat.
她在发怒。
He is in a heat.
He brushed away a tear.
He brushed away a tear.
He brushed away a tear.
她拭去一滴泪水。
He brushed away a tear.
Stories of adventure thrilled him.
Stories of adventure thrilled him.
Stories of adventure thrilled him.
探险小说使他神情激动。
Stories of adventure thrilled him.
The play delighted the audience.
The play delighted the audience.
The play delighted the audience.
这个剧观众看了很高兴。
The play delighted the audience.
In truth, we were both unhappy.
In truth, we were both unhappy.
In truth, we were both unhappy.
其实，我们俩都不高兴。
In truth, we were both unhappy.
He was pleased with their warm welcome.
He was pleased with their warm welcome.
He was pleased with their warm welcome.
他们的热烈欢迎使他很高兴。
He was pleased with their warm welcome.
I was tidying my room to please Mum.
I was tidying my room to please Mum.
I was tidying my room to please Mum.
我在整理房间，好让妈妈高兴。
I was tidying my room to please Mum.
Tears slid down his cheeks.
Tears slid down his cheeks.
Tears slid down his cheeks.
眼泪顺着他的面颊滑落。
Tears slid down his cheeks.
The aim of poetry is to please.
The aim of poetry is to please.
The aim of poetry is to please.
诗的目的在于使人高兴。
The aim of poetry is to please.
I can't describe my anger in words.
I can't describe my anger in words.
I can't describe my anger in words.
我无法用语言表达我的愤怒。
I can't describe my anger in words.
He does not look very glad about it.
He does not look very glad about it.
He does not look very glad about it.
他对此表现出不太高兴的样子。
He does not look very glad about it.
He appreciates being advised.
He appreciates being advised.
He appreciates being advised.
他得到忠告，十分高兴。
He appreciates being advised. 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 He appreciates being ad
I'm happy, indeed delighted.
I'm happy, indeed delighted.
I'm happy, indeed delighted.
我很高兴，确切说简直就是心花怒放。
I'm happy, indeed delighted.
The good news thrilled my family.
The good news thrilled my family.
The good news thrilled my family.
好消息使我的家人激动万分。
The good news thrilled my family.
His face was marked by rage.
His face was marked by rage.
His face was marked by rage.
他满脸愤怒。
His face was marked by rage.
I'm happy to see you.
I'm happy to see you.
I'm happy to see you.
我很高兴见到你。
I'm happy to see you.
I've just received some very sad news.
I've just received some very sad news.
I've just received some very sad news.
我刚刚得到一些令人伤心的消息。
I've just received some very sad news.
She wiped her tears away.
She wiped her tears away.
She wiped her tears away.
她擦掉了眼泪。
She wiped her tears away.
Her eyes were full of fire.
Her eyes were full of fire.
Her eyes were full of fire.
她的眼中充满了怒火。
Her eyes were full of fire.
We were delighted by your success.
We were delighted by your success.
We were delighted by your success.
听说你成功时，我们感到非常高兴。
We were delighted by your success.
We are all happy that you have come.
We are all happy that you have come.
We are all happy that you have come.
你来了，我们都很高兴。
We are all happy that you have come.
We had a lot of fun.
We had a lot of fun.
We had a lot of fun.
我们玩得很开心。
We had a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here.
哈，你在这里，我太高兴了。
Oh, I'm so glad you're here.
She was on the edge of tears.
She was on the edge of tears.
She was on the edge of tears.
她泪水盈眶。
She was on the edge of tears.
Jocelyn awoke in an evil temper.
Jacqueline awoke in an evil temper.
Jocelyn awoke in an evil temper.
杰斯琳怒气冲冲地醒来。
Jacqueline awoke in an evil temper.
Black passions boiled up inside him.
Black passions boiled up inside him.
Black passions boiled up inside him.
他怒火中烧。
Black passions boiled up inside him.
She didn't wince and her eyes were dry.
She didn't wince and her eyes were dry.
She didn't wince and her eyes were dry.
她没有皱眉，眼中也没有泪水。
She didn't wince and her eyes were dry.
He was inflamed with anger.
He was inflamed with anger.
He was inflamed with anger.
他满腔怒火。
He was inflamed with anger.
To my great delight, it worked.
To my great delight, it worked.
To my great delight, it worked.
让我高兴的是，他奏效了。
To my great delight, it worked.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you.
哦，很高兴见到你。
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you.
His anger hasn't cooled yet.
His anger hasn't cooled yet.
His anger hasn't cooled yet.
他的愤怒尚未平息。
His anger hasn't cooled yet.
I will telephone you delightfully.
I will telephone you delightfully.
I will telephone you delightfully.
我会高兴地给你打电话的。
I will telephone you delightfully.
It pleased him to talk to her.
It pleased him to talk to her.
It pleased him to talk to her.
和他谈话让他高兴。
It pleased him to talk to her.
She cried hot tears upon the books.
She cried hot tears upon the books.
She cried hot tears upon the books.
他哭的热泪都滴到书上了。
She cried hot tears upon the books.
The news gave us great joy.
The news gave us great joy.
The news gave us great joy.
这消息使我们非常高兴。
The news gave us great joy.
Seeing that flag made me boil.
Seeing that flag made me boil.
Seeing that flag made me boil.
看见那面旗帜使我激动不已。
Seeing that flag made me boil.
I'm glad to hear he's feeling better.
I'm glad to hear he's feeling better.
I'm glad to hear he's feeling better.
听说他身体好些了，我很高兴。
I'm glad to hear he's feeling better.
His eyes streamed tears.
His eyes streamed tears.
His eyes streamed tears.
他的眼里流出了泪水。
His eyes streamed tears.
He is only too pleased to help her.
He is only too pleased to help her.
He is only too pleased to help her.
他非常高兴帮助他。
He is only too pleased to help her.
Hello, sugar, nice to meet you.
Hello, sugar, nice to meet you.
Hello, sugar, nice to meet you.
喂，亲爱的，见到你真高兴。
Hello, sugar, nice to meet you.
The children were gay and cheerful.
The children were gay and cheerful.
The children were gay and cheerful.
孩子们都很高兴。
The children were gay and cheerful.
Was he ever delighted?
Was he ever delighted?
Was he ever delighted?
他高兴极了。
Was he ever delighted?
Her eyes shone with tears.
Her eyes shone with tears.
Her eyes shone with tears.
他的眼睛里闪动着泪花。
Her eyes shone with tears.
Tears were coursing down his cheeks.
Tears were coursing down his cheeks.
Tears were coursing down his cheeks.
泪水从他的脸颊滚落。
Tears were coursing down his cheeks.
He was too distressed to talk.
He was too distressed to talk.
He was too distressed to talk.
他伤心地说不出话来。
He was too distressed to talk.
She gave him a furious glare.
She gave him a furious glare.
She gave him a furious glare.
他对他怒目而视。
She gave him a furious glare.
How did you get the glad news?
How did you get the glad news?
How did you get the glad news?
你是如何得到这个令人高兴的消息的？
How did you get the glad news?
She was annoyed at your saying that.
She was annoyed at your saying that.
She was annoyed at your saying that.
你说了这些话，使他很生气。
She was annoyed at your saying that.
I have too much pleasure to meet you.
I have too much pleasure to meet you.
I have too much pleasure to meet you.
我很高兴遇见你。
I have too much pleasure to meet you.
It was a joy to see her looking so well.
It was a joy to see her looking so well.
It was a joy to see her looking so well.
看到她气色这么好，真叫人高兴。
It was a joy to see her looking so well.
The tears flowed past from her eyes.
The tears flowed past from her eyes.
The tears flowed past from her eyes.
泪水从她的眼中涌出。
The tears flowed past from her eyes.
Did you enjoy your visit to France?
Did you enjoy your visit to France?
Did you enjoy your visit to France?
你在法国待得开心吗？
Did you enjoy your visit to France?
I went on talking and ignored his tears.
I went on talking and ignored his tears.
I went on talking and ignored his tears.
我没管他在流泪，继续讲下去。
I went on talking and ignored his tears.
We all laughed until we cried.
We all laughed until we cried.
We all laughed until we cried.
我们都大笑起来，直到笑出了眼泪。
We all laughed until we cried.
It was clear that his words pleased her.
It was clear that his words pleased her.
It was clear that his words pleased her.
显然，他的话使他高兴。
It was clear that his words pleased her.
Your visit last week delighted us.
Your visit last week delighted us.
Your visit last week delighted us.
你上星期的来访使我们很高兴。
Your visit last week delighted us.
She steeped her handkerchief in tears.
She steeped her handkerchief in tears.
She steeped her handkerchief in tears.
她的泪水湿透了她的手绢。
She steeped her handkerchief in tears.
I am very glad to be shot of the job.
I am very glad to be shot of the job.
I am very glad to be shot of the job.
我很高兴做完这件工作。
I am very glad to be shot of the job.
We're very glad about your good news.
We're very glad about your good news.
We're very glad about your good news.
我们为你的好消息感到非常高兴。
We're very glad about your good news.
I'm delighted to read that book.
I'm delighted to read that book.
I'm delighted to read that book.
我非常高兴读那本书。
I'm delighted to read that book.
Tears express grief.
Tears express grief.
Tears express grief.
眼泪表达的是悲痛。
Tears express grief.
They resented dictation from above.
They resented dictation from above.
They resented dictation from above.
他们对上司的发号施令感到愤怒。
They resented dictation from above.
I am delighted to see all so happy.
I am delighted to see all so happy.
I am delighted to see all so happy.
看见大家这么快乐，我很高兴。
I am delighted to see all so happy.
There was water in her eyes.
There was water in her eyes.
There was water in her eyes.
她流泪了。
There was water in her eyes.
They appeared amused by the story.
They appeared amused by the story.
They appeared amused by the story.
他们听了这故事，显得很高兴的样子。
They appeared amused by the story.
She seemed glad of the diversion.
She seemed glad of the diversion.
She seemed glad of the diversion.
她似乎很高兴这种消遣。
She seemed glad of the diversion.
I am very pleased to hear the news.
I am very pleased to hear the news.
I am very pleased to hear the news.
我很高兴听到这个消息。
I am very pleased to hear the news.
The old woman glared at him.
The old woman glared at him.
The old woman glared at him.
那个老妇人怒视着他。
The old woman glared at him.
Paddy was always cheerful and jolly.
Paddy was always cheerful and jolly.
Paddy was always cheerful and jolly.
帕迪总是很高兴，很开心。
Paddy was always cheerful and jolly.
Meeting you has really made my day.
Meeting you has really made my day.
Meeting you has really made my day.
与你相遇真是让我高兴。
Meeting you has really made my day.
It's great to know you.
It's great to know you.
It's great to know you.
认识你真高兴。
It's great to know you.
The film thrilled the audience.
The film thrilled the audience.
The film thrilled the audience.
那部电影使观众异常激动。
The film thrilled the audience.
Did you have a good time at the party?
Did you have a good time at the party?
Did you have a good time at the party?
你在聚会上玩得开心吗？
Did you have a good time at the party?
The remark angered him.
The remark angered him.
The remark angered him.
这句话激怒了他。
The remark angered him.
Tom looked rather offended.
Tom looked rather offended.
Tom looked rather offended.
看来汤姆相当生气。
Tom looked rather offended.
She is slow to wrath.
She is slow to wrath.
She is slow to wrath.
他轻易不动怒。
She is slow to wrath.
What he said pleased all of us.
What he said pleased all of us.
What he said pleased all of us.
他的话使我们大家都高兴。
What he said pleased all of us.
His anger flamed up.
His anger flamed up.
His anger flamed up.
他勃然大怒。
His anger flamed up.
The smoke made my eyes water.
The smoke made my eyes water.
The smoke made my eyes water.
烟使我的眼睛流泪。
The smoke made my eyes water.
He wetted his sleeves with tears.
He wetted his sleeves with tears.
He wetted his sleeves with tears.
他的衣袖被泪水所湿。
He wetted his sleeves with tears.
Facer felt very happy.
Facer felt very happy.
Facer felt very happy.
费塞感到非常高兴。
Facer felt very happy.
I felt a sudden anger inside me.
I felt a sudden anger inside me.
I felt a sudden anger inside me.
一股怒火窜上我的心头。
I felt a sudden anger inside me.
The dog wagged its tail with pleasure.
The dog wagged its tail with pleasure.
The dog wagged its tail with pleasure.
那条狗高兴地直摇尾巴。
The dog wagged its tail with pleasure.
Her expression suggested anger.
Her expression suggested anger.
Her expression suggested anger.
她露出愤怒的表情。
Her expression suggested anger.
We are happy for them.
We are happy for them.
We are happy for them.
我们为他们而高兴。
We are happy for them.
It is one of my greatest pleasures.
It is one of my greatest pleasures.
It is one of my greatest pleasures.
这是我最高兴的事之一。
It is one of my greatest pleasures.
He was irritated by a person.
He was irritated by a person.
He was irritated by a person.
他为某人所激怒。
He was irritated by a person.
Her face was dirty and tear-stained.
Her face was dirty and tear-stained.
Her face was dirty and tear-stained.
他的脸很脏，还留有泪痕。
Her face was dirty and tear-stained.
She looked more sad than angry.
She looked more sad than angry.
She looked more sad than angry.
他看起来更多的是悲伤，而不是愤怒。
She looked more sad than angry.
We are glad to be on land again.
We are glad to be on land again.
We are glad to be on land again.
我们很高兴又踏上陆地了。
We are glad to be on land again.
Don't be black on me.
Don't be black on me.
Don't be black on me.
不要对我怒气冲冲。
Don't be black on me.
All he had seen and heard pleased him.
All he had seen and heard pleased him.
All he had seen and heard pleased him.
他的见闻使他高兴。
All he had seen and heard pleased him.